In 2026, the balance of power in Eastern Europe could shift dramatically. Russia's military modernization and Ukraine's Western-backed evolution are setting the stage for a new kind of standoff, one defined by technology, strategy, and global influence. Today, we'll break down who might dominate the battlefield by 2026 and why the answer might surprise you. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most anticipated defense analyses of the decade, Russia vs. Ukraine. Military power forecast for 2026. This isn't about speculation or politics. It's about understanding the evolving balance of strength, modernization, and strategic capability on both sides. Since 2022, the military dynamics between Russia and Ukraine have transformed dramatically. Russia has faced global sanctions yet continues to advance key defense sectors, from missile systems to electronic warfare. Meanwhile, Ukraine, backed by NATO standard training, Western technologies, and combat experience, is evolving faster than ever before. As we project toward 2026, the question isn't just who has more weapons, it's who can adapt faster to modern combat realities. Factors like drone warfare, long-range precision systems, and battlefield digitalization are now redefining what military power really means. Throughout this video, we'll examine air power, ground forces, naval capabilities, intelligence systems, and international support, all through verified, factual data and future-oriented projections. Stay tuned till the end, because we'll also discuss how both countries' defense strategies could shape the entire region's security landscape in 2026. By 2026, Russia's armed forces are projected to complete one of their largest modernization cycles in decades. Despite economic sanctions, Moscow has redirected resources toward domestic production and defense automation. Key upgrades include the next generation of Su-57 fighter jets, advanced hypersonic systems like the Kinjal, and further refinement of the S-500 air defense network. In the ground domain, Russia continues integrating robotic platforms and autonomous logistics. Its T-14 Armata tanks, though limited in numbers, symbolize a shift toward digitized warfare. Electronic warfare and cyber capabilities remain among the strongest globally, capable of disrupting enemy communications and satellite guidance. However, the biggest shift may not be in hardware, but in strategy. Russian doctrine for 2026 emphasizes multi-domain operations, merging air, land, and cyber elements under a unified command. This integrated approach aims to deliver overwhelming control over contested zones in record time. Yet challenges remain. Prolonged deployments have stretched logistics, and maintaining morale amid sustained conflict is increasingly difficult. Still, Russia's experience, scale, and industrial resilience give it substantial staying power. The Kremlin's focus on strategic deterrence through modernization suggests a force preparing for long-term regional dominance, not just short-term survival. Ukraine's military in 2026 will look vastly different from the one that entered conflict in 2022. Years of combat experience, Western training, and billions in defense assistance have reshaped its forces into a more agile, tech-driven, and NATO-compatible military structure. By 2026, Ukraine is expected to field an integrated command and control system comparable to smaller NATO states. Its drone warfare capabilities, once improvised, are now becoming systematic. Indigenous UAV production, combined with Western-supplied models, allows Ukraine to surveil, strike, and adapt with precision. On the ground, the country is transitioning from Soviet-era equipment to standardized Western platforms such as Leopard 2 tanks, Bradley IFVs, and advanced artillery systems like HIMARS. Air defense, once a weak point, has significantly improved with Patriot and IRST systems now part of its arsenal. Ukraine's greatest strength, however, lies in adaptability. It continues to absorb lessons from each engagement, incorporating real-time AI data analysis for targeting and defense planning. but vulnerabilities remain, particularly in manpower sustainability and long-range strike capacity. Still, by 2026, Ukraine's defense structure is set to represent a fusion of resilience, Western integration, and combat innovation, qualities that make it an unpredictable and formidable opponent in any regional power equation. Air dominance will be a critical factor in determining military effectiveness. By 2026, Russia's air fleet remains among the world's largest, featuring over 1,500 combat aircraft. The Su-35 and Su-57 platforms continue to evolve, integrating advanced stealth, radar evasion, and long-range missile systems. Russia's extensive early warning radar network adds a major edge in situational awareness. Ukraine, on the other hand, is undergoing a complete Air Force transition. By 2026, several squadrons of F-16 fighters supplied and trained under Western supervision are expected to become operational. This will dramatically increase its precision strike range and interoperability with NATO systems. While Russia maintains numerical superiority, Ukraine's potential lies in digital advantage and Western avionics. F-16s with modern targeting pods and data links could allow Ukraine to engage with precision while minimizing risk exposure. However, Russia's layered air defenses, including S-400 and S-500 systems, still pose a formidable challenge to any Ukrainian air operations. The outcome of future air engagements will likely depend less on quantity and more on data integration. Whoever controls the information network controls the skies. By 2026, the air domain could reflect a balance between Russia's mass and Ukraine's modernization, a contest between legacy strength and digital precision. Ground warfare remains the defining component of both militaries' strength assessments. Russia continues to field one of the largest ground forces in the world, with over 300,000 active combat personnel and thousands of armored vehicles. Its T-90M and T-14 Armata tanks, supported by advanced artillery like the Tu-35 Kalitsia, form the backbone of its mechanized divisions. Ukraine's ground forces, however, are undergoing a significant shift from quantity to quality. Western-provided Leopard 2 and Challenger 2 tanks have greatly improved survivability and accuracy. The introduction of NATO standard logistics, combined with satellite-guided artillery fire, has increased Ukrainian precision and sustainability. By 2026, Ukraine's armor units are expected to rely more on mobility and hybrid tactics, combining manned vehicles with unmanned ground drones for reconnaissance and support. Russia, meanwhile, emphasizes heavy armor concentration and combined arms offensives. The main difference lies in doctrine. Russia favors deep penetration armored thrusts supported by air cover, while Ukraine focuses on flexible defense, hit and move operations, and small unit autonomy. In 2026, Russia may still dominate in armored numbers, but Ukraine's adaptive, Western-trained ground forces could challenge that advantage, particularly in environments where speed and intelligence outweigh brute force. At sea, Russia remains the dominant force. The Russian Navy operates several fleets across the Black Sea, Baltic, and Arctic regions, featuring advanced submarines and surface vessels armed with caliber cruise missiles. Its naval aviation and coastal defense systems, like Bastion P, offer extended reach and anti-ship precision. Ukraine's Navy, by contrast, suffered major losses early in the conflict, but has since adapted through asymmetric strategies. By 2026, Ukraine is focusing on drone boats, coastal missile batteries, and intelligence sharing with NATO allies. Western support has provided radar surveillance upgrades and sea denial capabilities rather than direct naval parity. Russia's Black Sea Fleet continues to project strength, but its exposure to drone and missile strikes has forced strategic adjustments. Ukrainian maritime drones and land-based Neptune missiles have already demonstrated their disruptive potential. By 2026, Ukraine's approach to naval defense will likely emphasize deterrence and disruption, while Russia's emphasis will remain projection and control. The contrast between these two philosophies defines modern maritime dynamics: traditional naval power versus innovative sea denial warfare. In this domain, numbers favor Russia, but adaptability favors Ukraine. The evolving balance at sea will depend heavily on continued Western technology transfer and Ukraine's growing expertise in autonomous systems. In modern conflict, control over information is as vital as control over territory. Russia's cyber and electronic warfare divisions are among the most sophisticated globally, capable of disrupting GPS, radar, and communications. Its EW platforms like the Krasuka series can jam drone feeds and block satellite signals within hundreds of kilometers. Ukraine, meanwhile, has become a testing ground for defensive cyber strategies. Supported by Western intelligence network, Ukraine has built a joint command center that integrates AI-driven cyber defense, real-time data from NATO satellites, and open-source intelligence. By 2026, this digital race will define operational success. Russia's strength lies in disruption, disabling systems and creating confusion, while Ukraine's strength lies in resilience and adaptation. Cyber battles are already influencing real-world operations, from targeting logistics to intercepting command transmissions. In the next phase, both sides are expected to deploy autonomous electronic warfare drones capable of jamming or spoofing each other's signals. The outcome of this domain may ultimately decide who gains the upper hand in 2026. Victory won't just be about tanks or aircraft. It will be about who can see, communicate, and react faster in an increasingly data-driven battlefield. Russia's defense industry remains vast, with major state enterprises like Rostec leading production across missiles, vehicles, and aircraft. Despite sanctions, domestic production has surged due to mobilized civilian industries and alternative import routes. However, sustaining high production under economic pressure may strain quality and technological innovation. Ukraine's defense sector, though smaller, is evolving with foreign partnerships. Joint ventures with European defense companies are expected to grow by 2026, focusing on drone manufacturing, armored repair, and digital warfare systems. Ukraine's ability to integrate Western supply chains has already shortened repair cycles and enhanced field readiness. Logistics remain a critical vulnerability for both sides. Russia's large-scale operations demand vast supply networks, often exposed to precision strikes. Ukraine, on the other hand, compensates for its smaller infrastructure with faster decision-making and digitalized logistics coordination. By 2026, Ukraine's hybrid defense economy, part domestic, part Western, supported, could become a model for resilience under pressure. Russia's industrial depth provides endurance, but efficiency and adaptability may determine operational outcomes. In essence, the logistics and production front is becoming a silent battleground, one fought not with missiles, but with manufacturing, innovation, and resource sustainability. Global alliances are shaping the future balance of power more than ever. Russia continues to rely on strategic partnerships with nations like China, Iran, and North Korea for economic and military cooperation. These relationships provide access to critical materials, technology exchanges, and ammunition supplies. Ukraine, conversely, remains deeply integrated with Western defense structures. By 2026, NATO's indirect support and EU defense funds are expected to make Ukraine's military systems nearly interoperable with alliance standards. Training programs, intelligence coordination, and shared satellite data give Kyiv a qualitative edge. This divergence reflects two distinct ecosystems: Russia's self-reliant and Eastern-oriented network versus Ukraine's transatlantic integration. Global reactions to both models will shape defense diplomacy in the years ahead. Strategically, Western nations aim to maintain Ukraine's deterrence capacity, not just its defense. Russia's approach emphasizes maintaining influence across former Soviet regions through military presence and resource control. By 2026, Both nations' military trajectories will be inseparable from their alliances. Ukraine's strength will depend on consistent Western engagement, while Russia's endurance will rely on sustaining partnerships and self-sufficiency amid ongoing global competition. As we look toward 2026, both Russia and Ukraine are heading into distinct but equally complex defense futures. Russia will likely maintain numerical superiority, especially in air and missile systems, but faces long-term sustainability challenges. Its industrial base, though resilient, risks technological stagnation without broader global access. Ukraine, meanwhile, is rapidly modernizing and could surpass expectations if Western support continues. Its focus on agility, digital warfare, and precision strike capability positions it for strategic flexibility that Russia's larger, more traditional force might struggle to counter. In 2026, the overall balance may stabilize into a technological standoff, Russia holding scale and strategic depth, Ukraine holding adaptability and real-time intelligence edge. The outcome won't be determined by who has more firepower, but by who better integrates innovation, logistics, and alliances. Ultimately, both militaries represent two contrasting doctrines, one built on endurance and deterrence, the other on transformation and technology. The coming years will test which philosophy prevails in shaping Eastern Europe's defense landscape. One thing remains clear: the evolution of these two forces will redefine not only their future, but the global understanding of modern military power itself. If you found this analysis insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more global defense breakdowns. Let us know in the comments, who do you think will lead the power balance by 2026, Russia's endurance or Ukraine's innovation?